Now, I just got this video because I got a new. I thank y'all for the 13 subscribers. I love all y'all, and I just got a new person who I already know they haven't been watching my other videos because they had this question. Can you break down God, or if there's a God concept, can you break it down real easy and simple for people to understand? Because I have came across a lot of videos on the internet where people ramble but really kind of say the same thing everyone else is saying. All right, now I get what you're saying. Now, all right, let's talk about it like this. This is God. Now, I'm going to talk about it from the best way of your perspective, right? God is a parameter. It's a range, and you're within fields. You're within spaces because in every realm has a range. You can look outside of you and see something that's outside of Earth. You know your range. You can't go outside of Earth, so that's your parameter. So you're within the field, within the field. Ranges and parameters is how people learn everything. This is how God comes to you. Now, and this is the power that God gave you. Now we're going to break it down. Now, as far as this parameter of field, you got a breadth range, a range. This is how you learn everything. So this is how you know it's God. God is a parameter. Now, this is the power that God gave you. Anytime you reach, now in your life, in the best way you can understand it, God is everything tied to no. Anything that's tied to the letters no, that frequency vibration. So you can look at words like knowledge. That's no ledge. So when you go over the ledge, is no ledge. It's forever. You see what I'm saying? You forever fall. Now nothing. That's no thing. That's something, but it's no thing. It has no shape or form. So that's the description of nothing. But nothing is not how y'all looking at it. It's no thing. You see what I'm saying? Noticeable. You know what I'm saying? Not. Say we got 5 colors on the table, right? And we have to name these colors. We don't have no name for them. We'll name one because of what the other one is not. Say we get to the last color. Say we don't know it's green yet and we call it green. The only reason we call it that color is because we know it's not the other colors. So this is why we have to give it a name that's not the other names. When you look at no thing is no shape or form. So when you look at a field, a parameter, right? A parameter is a wall that doesn't know it's a wall. It's an area that doesn't know it's an area yet. So it's just like non-existent. It's not in reality. It's not physical. So when you look at this parameter, right? This parameter is like a boundary. Now, once a boundary that doesn't know is a boundary. Now, once you reach a parameter, that parameter is going to come into a shape or form or a way that look like that's within that parameter in order to show you reached a parameter or a boundary. You see what I'm saying? That no thing, that no shape or form comes into a shape or form that looks like the parameter to show you that you are. So this is where walls is created. This is where Adam and Eve, this is where friction became. This is where the second orb came about and everything. You see what I'm saying? You have to look at it like this. An idea or something that you want to do, right? When you actually go do it, you start to experience what you can or can't do. Now, if it's something you really want to do, you're going to start to calculate what you can do to do it. So the things that you're calculating is the things in that situation that you have to overcome. You see what I'm saying? So when you reach your limits, when you reach your boundaries, God will always come in some way, shape, or form to show you that you reached the boundary. Now that way, shape, or form can come into a person, place, or thing, or a location, or area based upon how it looks, based upon your position in the world. So if you know you're in 3D right now, and you looking at things in a 3D perspective, then you know once you reach a parameter, a boundary, or a limit in that dimension, in this reality, then that nothing is going to come into something. That no thing comes into a shape, form, or a way that it can appear in your reality to show you that you're reaching a parameter. So say you're within a religious parameter. So you already picked a God. You picked a lesser God than the overall parameter. Because you know your mind limits could go further than that, but you choose not to. So this is how you know you picked the lesser one. Now let's check this out. Now, in that realm of reality, it got certain laws and things to do or don't do. So when you reach a parameter, You start to feel like, okay, I'm doing something I know I'm not supposed to do. So that oversoul, that Lord, you give that Lord the ability to come into your life in some way, shape, or form of ways of showing you that you're not supposed to be doing this. You see what I'm saying? All those ideas that you feel like it happened if you did what you wasn't supposed to do, that nothing that you gave power to can come into your life in some way, shape, or form in that way of things that you're not supposed to do. And then once you experience that, you know you have reached a limit or a boundary. So look, this is the power. Now that's just scratch that. You're supposed to think and experience to know your limits and boundaries. This is how you know everything. This is how you know what you can or can't do. This is how God teach everybody. Now, to know now, God, the power that God give you is to extend the parameter. Now, to know if you extend the parameter in a bad way, you're going to get transformed. That way, shape, or form God come to you is going to be in a so immense energy that is going to transform you. So because you stay within the parameter. You're within the parameter. So anytime you reach the parameter in a negative way, you would get transformed back in. Now, anytime you extend the parameter in a good way, you extend it. Anytime you come to the parameter in a good way, you extend it and create more. You see what I'm saying? Now, here's how you do that. This is the power God gave everybody. Now, look at a parameter like this. Now, say you have an idea. Now, if it's an idea that have been thought about before, you see what I'm saying? That it's not extending no parameter. So, no, people said fuck God before and nothing happened. People said fuck this before and nothing happened. This, that, and third. So this is letting you know how you can reach your boundaries and your limits. So once you reach a certain idea or something that you want to do, right? Now, your ability to actually do it by calculating what you can or can't do in it is you coming up with a new idea. Boom, that's you being able to extend the boundary. You being able to do something that wasn't done before. You being able to come up with a new idea. That's you extending the boundaries. You see what I'm saying? Now, you doing something and get transformed, you going to the boundaries in a negative way is assuming, prejudging, thinking something is what it already is before it ain't, before you know what it is. You see all you religious people do that. Religious people ain't nothing but egos. They try to think they got more of something than you have. And then they curse you out for not, it's an ego thing. And they got some egos. And I wouldn't praise nothing that give me that kind of energy. Because you're just playing out energies. Forget the words, people, places, and things. It's the energy. Now, when you reach a parameter of prejudging, thinking something's going to already happen, and you don't even, for an example, you have a range of limits in this realm of reality. Let's say you go to the rooftop and jump over a bridge. Say you prejudge. You go thinking you know everything already, and you prejudge. And then you think that, nah, I could jump off a bridge and nothing won't happen. I'll land on my feet. Then you jump off a bridge by prejudging, right? What happens? Yeah, you extend the parameter, but in your life, you extended it in a negative way. It transformed you to the point that you went over limits. You went over your boundaries. You went in the land of nothingness and had to get transformed back into the parameter of something. Because nothing wasn't there yet. No thing wasn't there yet. So you took it there. So now somebody can say, I died before. You see what I'm saying? You took it there. So now that's been experienced. So now the perimeter have been widened. But how did you widen the field? Did you do it in a negative way to the point that you got transformed? Or did you do it in a positive way to the point that you gained more? You see what I'm saying? Now, as far as extending the parameter, you would have learned and calculated certain things and certain attributes and would have figured out that, okay, if I jump off, I will die if I jump off the roof. You know what I'm saying? So that's extending the parameter in a positive way. That'll help everybody. If you extend it in a negative way is prejudging. Now, you would be the example of yourself. So that's being a living representation of something. You jumping off your Excel. So you extended a parameter that helped everybody. Everything was still a good cause, but you still did it, transformed yourself. So God, that nothing had to come into something, had to come into a shape, way, or form to show you that you reached past the limits. And it has to come into a way, shape, or form to let you know that you extended the parameter. If you did it in a good way. Because if you wanted to do something, then you reached the boundary and you learned how to overcome that boundary, aka learned the math problem or learned how to do something, right? Then you're able to experience beyond that parameter, beyond that boundary. So, what is God? God is a parameter. God is the boundary. God is nothing. God is not in the physical. God will only come into the physical in a representation of what form you're in. So if you're in a religious form, God will come to you in that way, shape, or form. If you're in an atheist form, God will come to you in that way, shape, or form. If you're in a science realm of reality, God will come to you in that way, shape, or form. If you don't believe in nothing, God will come to you in that way, shape, or form, which is no shape, way, or form. You would just be in the land of nothingness. But what we do know is it don't matter what energy you're playing out. Once you reach a parameter of that energy, that nothing will come in that way, shape, or form. And if you're in the energy of you and nothing, God will come to you as no thing. You know what I'm saying? And you will just be lost. And that's God showing you to fucking get some direction. Because you're going to start experiencing lostness like you never did before. You know what I'm saying? If you're a scientist, God gonna come to you in that way, shape, or form. Because that's the realm of reality that you're creating for yourself. So since God is nothing, is no thing, it's gonna come to you in some way, shape, or form in whatever you're into. So if God ain't came to a scientist yet, that's because the scientist ain't reached no range yet, no parameter. To have no wall to be created. Because you haven't truly done anything. But the moment you do something, and your ass die, get transformed, or get stuck in space or something like that, you reach the parameter. And God had to come in that scientific way, shape, or form to let your ass know you can't do that, motherfucker. And that's what God is. God is nothing. God is no thing. God is the field. God is the parameter. And you are within it. This is before him or he or all that shit. Positive and negative before all that shit. It was just a parameter. You ain't get positive or negative until you reach the parameter. Say you had a thought that you feel like nobody ever thought of before, right? The moment you start to think, did somebody think about that before, or start to research, or have that idea that somebody might have thought, or had the opposing idea, that's what created positive and negative. That's way after the parameter and all that, in the field and all that shit. You got people who had a level of consciousness that'd be like, God is male and female, both, and this, that, and that. God ain't even none of that. None of that. People say God is the singularity. God ain't none of that. Because you got many different singularities. Then you'll be like, okay, that don't make sense because it could be a singular. No. It could be a singularity that motherfucker once that reach a parameter, it's gonna get tapped on his ass. God gonna come in some way, shape, or form and be like, hey, motherfucker, you a fucking singularity. You know what I'm saying? The parameter shit go deep. And everything in existence, that's how everything in existence learns. From parameter and range. And if you reach any range, I don't care how far the limits you ever reach, God will make sure it come in some way, shape, or form to let your ass know that God is here. And God is everything. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air. RJ, URIEL.